In gaming, when you encounter a dull player or just a bad player, one of the common insults we call them is a bot. Now, a bot is just an artificial intelligence, and most bots operate at a very low level of skill. As a matter of fact, most bots really are just so obviously bots that even the worst of the worst players could kill them relatively easily. Now, if you look at the screen, you see the behind the scenes for Apex Legends, and you see them in full body motion tracking suits. This allows them for having a more realistic template to work with whenever they're animating graphics, computer generated graphics, I guess. I don't necessarily know how it works, but we all have an idea of how that works. So, with that being said, what if you could base an AI off of actual players' gameplay? For example, NRG Asu. If we had a bot that just watched a shit ton of his vids and it just traced every movement that he did, but also combine that with what we have currently where the bots will target whoever and do whatnot. We just need the movement of Asu and the the ideas of just he knows when to duck behind cover, he knows when to take a head glitch. Those type of things, I wonder how much trouble it is incorporating them into an AI. Most of the time, a bot is identifiably a bot because their movement is extremely janky and slow, and their aim is far worse than that. They just seem to be spraying in your general direction and not even legitimately aiming and trying to hit you. Now, take what I said in the very beginning. Bad players, we call them bots. And then take the screenshot where you see that the firing range dummies can be turned on. Not only that, but there is already artificial intelligence inside of Stormpoint, the spiders and the prowlers. Now, some people genuinely have a load of trouble trying to fight off prowlers. Like you see your two little teammates go into the prowler den in the center of the map, and then they just both get like completely obliterated by prowlers. But then some of us literally we go off on the prowlers and we're just one clipping them, and it just looks really cool, and it's like, wow, they added a PvE event, pretty enjoyable. Maybe the prowlers get 2 hits off on you, but you basically cleared out all of the mounds. So with that being said, there's obviously different skill levels of players, and some players are legitimately incapable of outsmarting an AI. Believe it or not, it's just the tough truth. Now, think about the firing range dummies. They aren't necessarily as much of a threat as the prowlers, but I'd say they pose more of a threat than the spiders. So, without having any movement, they aren't as good as the prowlers, because the prowlers are quadrupedal. They literally can fucking climb buildings, break doors in one hit, and they're fast. They literally do barrel rolls to dodge bullets. Prowlers are indeed a higher level AI, where they were programmed to be more malicious than the dummies, which is quite strange, because that goes to show that there are different levels of AI. In Season 13, they're adding some more death bots, like from Titanfall. I forget what they're called. They aren't pilots, but they're just like IMC kind of droids. Not droids, but drones, I would say. And they're just defense, they're security. When you take a gun, they will be coming out, and I don't know however many, but you see in the trailer. So with that being said, I'm just here to ask you guys about AI intelligence and how it could be incorporated into the game. Because, to be quite frank, sometimes I genuinely wish that I had bots on my team. And I'm not saying that because the bots are bad and I could do better because I have bad teammates. I'm saying that because the bots are better than the teammates. Now, a bot will not leave the match before the match even starts. A bot will not leave the match just because it got knocked in a very visible location. A bot will not falter whenever there's enemies in front of it because a bot doesn't possess fear. Now, genuinely, we've had those teammates where we went in, they were behind us when we went in, but by the time we go down, they're like halfway across the map. It's just that simple. There's some people who are genuinely afraid to fight in a first-person shooter. They loaded up a first-person shooter, they got into the game, they got their guns, they got their ammo, they got their heals and their loot. They're ready to fight. But as soon as the confrontation comes, it's like it turns into a horror game and becomes Dead by Daylight, and they can only run away. I swear, people will pick up both guns in a building, leave you with a Mozambique, and then they go down having had done 0 damage, while you're sitting there and you just wipe the whole entire squad with the Mozambique. Now, I'm not trying to knock anybody's skill level, but I am indeed trying to tell you that a bot could genuinely be more useful at times. There was recently an event where prowlers were added to your team at a certain point because it was the zombie mode. But yeah, you got a prowler, and that prowler was actually quite useful. The Nessies in the recent mode, quite useful. So, I am here to pose the question, how good do you think a bot could be? Like, let's say, on a range of KDs, wonder what the best bot could maintain as its KD. Now, of course, there would have to be basic programming in the bot as far as the next zone. It has to know when to take cover. I just feel like there should be something in-game where, say, if I ping a location, the bot will go to that location, you know what I mean? Because if I was playing with 2 bots, I genuinely think that some of these games I could have done much better than when I got that guy who was just hiding in the corner, literally hiding in the corner while people were actually inside the house fighting us. He has guns, he has full health, he has full shields. He just won't. He won't help. But if it was an artificial intelligence, if it was an AI, a bot, then you could have actually gotten help in some of these scenarios where the last guy is absolute one shot and you just don't have any teammates, but you knocked 2 and the last guy is one shot. If you just have a bot that's mildly capable, it'll just walk up, shoot that guy, and pick you up. It's that simple. Now, I know that it sounds very simple, but the process of actually programming a bot to be on a level of intelligent human beings is actually quite complicated, and I can understand why someone wouldn't want to even go through the process of trying to make it. It seems like a insurmountable task. But when you think about it, some of the bots that we have currently are already better than intelligent humans or unintelligent humans. Now, I understand that you'll never be able to put problem solving into a bot, but you can put precognitive problem solving in. So if you run 1,000 simulations, you could potentially put the bot in each simulation and program it to where it has multiple reactions to a problem. See, if there was only a one-track mind in the bot, then you run into the problems of the firing range dummies. They don't necessarily have any killing intent. They don't necessarily have any drive. You can see that they're really only driven to shoot at you once you become really obviously near them. You would need to just run a bunch of tests or simulations, especially because the zone is a big problem in a battle royale. Simply having the bot know to move to the next zone isn't necessarily going to work out, because what if there's a large barrier in the way, like a mountain? You need to be able to have the bot navigate the map and know different ways into entering the zone. Say like underground tunnels, or say rotating completely around the choke point because there's quite obviously enemies on the other side. Those aren't things that a bot will be able to recognize unless we run a bunch of tests where that bot ran into a scenario and it genuinely learned from that scenario that if there's a bunch of enemies on the other side, it'll be at an extreme disadvantage. You need to... I don't know how incorporating bots into the game would really go, but I do know for a fact that sometimes I genuinely believe having firing range dummies that just followed me around would be a better teammate than getting no teammates at all because matchmaking is broken, or than getting garbage ass teammates because matchmaking is broken. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was not very visually pleasing, but that's not the point of it. I just wanted to talk about this idea.